Our last speaker is already here, and it's waiting. He is one of the most influential medicine doctors of our time, a man who specializes in both alternative medicine and holistic approach. He is an author of many books, actually more than 85 of them. They have been translated into 43 languages, and 22 of them have been named as the bestsellers of the New York Times. He is also a co-founder and chairman of the board of Chopra Center for Well-Being in Carlsbad, California, and also the founder of the Chopra Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Deepak Chopra. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you. How are you? So I was picked up a little while ago from the airport, and Sitirad informed me that I was speaking here. So I am here. And I actually had no plans to speak about anything specific because I'm doing a seminar all day tomorrow, and I hope some of you are coming. So let me share with you right now what is occupying my mind right now. If you go on the internet and you type out, what are the open questions in science today? You know, open means open. We don't know the answers. The number, and there are about 125 such questions that were originally published in Science magazine in the year 2008. And it hasn't changed. The same questions are there. Open questions in science. There are about 125 to 150 such questions. But the number one question is, what is the universe made of? Because everything is made of something, right? This microphone is made of, I think, plastic. Okay. Your body is made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other elements, DNA, so on. What is the universe made of? That's the number one question. And the number two question in science today is, what's the biological basis of consciousness? So right now you're listening to me. You can observe this stage. You can look at your own body because you have consciousness. Without consciousness, there's no experience. If there is, we don't know what it is. Right? So we need consciousness to have any experience. These are the two, number one and number two, questions in science today. So without going into the history, people have thought about the universe in many ways ever since we started to speak to each other in language. So we are told by deep historians that up until, say, 50,000 years ago, when there was what is called the cognitive revolution, when people started to think and communicate with each other, up until 50,000 years ago, there were at least 8 different types of human beings. So we are part of a bigger family. The other humans are now extinct. So we call ourselves Homo sapiens, which means the wise ones. We were humble enough to give ourselves that name. But then we gave names to other human species, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo neanderthalis, Homo floresiensis, on and on. So we are part of a bigger family, just like a cat, a lion, a tiger, a panther, a cheetah are the cat family, the Leo family, but they don't mate with each other. One species mates with only its own kind. Like that, there were 8 different humans, some this big, some this big, all look like this. And they had a very rudimentary language. So, fire, danger, food, sex. But then one species, and by the way, they all moved in packs, just like wolves and other animals, mammals move in packs. Humans also moved in packs. So there was a pack leader, always a male, because the way to get food was hunt, kill. And the leader could never get more than 100 people to follow him. Usually was a him. Till one species, the human species, Homo sapiens, developed a language first for gossip. Okay, so this is the most dominant activity of human beings even today. You know, so-and-so sleeping with so-and-so, so-and-so can't be trusted, so-and-so is faithful, so-and-so is a traitor, etc., etc. And this very quickly evolved to a language for telling stories. Very quickly it became a language for telling stories. And the more crazy the story was, the bigger the following of the leader. That should tell you something about current leadership in the world today. Okay, the crazier the story, the more popular the leader. As one historian said, he said you cannot convince a monkey to give up its banana in the hope that the monkey will get 1,000,000 bananas in monkey heaven. But you can convince human beings to do outrageous things with the promise of some greater glory in another life, in another domain. So the first stories were religious stories, okay? And they came up with stories, mythical stories, all over the world. The Bible is the mythical story written by human beings, after all. You have to have humans to write the story. So the first stories were basically religious stories, and they're still the most popular stories. But then we came up with other concepts, other constructs, like money. Money is a story, right? People, all they wanted to do is exchange goods and services, so they said, okay, let's put a piece of paper, I owe you this, and I can give you my chicken, and you can give me a haircut, but now we have a piece of paper. And so money became a human invention. And then on and on. We constructed concepts out of experience. So latitude, longitude, kingdoms, colonial empires, democracy, aristocracy, Wall Street, these are all human stories. We created the human experience of the universe. It was our creation. And so, the more you look at this, you'll see that the stories in science have evolved. So the first story was God created the universe. And then up until the 17th century, during the time of the European Renaissance, we had what is called the European Enlightenment. Isaac Newton and Descartes and Leibniz, philosophers, great philosophers, but also great scientists. And at least in the world of science, the religious story collapsed. Okay, of course, the religious story is still the most popular, but 500 years ago, we had what is called the cognitive revolution led to what we call the scientific revolution. In between, there was 12,000 years ago, there was the agricultural revolution too. So hunting was still there, but not so popular. But once the scientific story started, then in the last 500 years, we've seen a lot of progress, right? We use science today for everything, including this microphone. I took a plane to get here. We use Facebook and Twitter, and science is the most successful adventure that human beings have taken. So without going into details, the scientific story was Isaac Newton, mechanistic universe, Newtonian model, and then the theory of relativity, Einstein, with two theories, special theory and general theory, which gave us certain ways to think about the universe, which are very difficult to understand, but they're mathematically, they work. So the speed of light is a constant for all frames of reference, and E is equal to mc squared, mass is equal to energy, and then, of course, what we call gravity is the curvature of space-time. Newtonian physics works, but relativity works better. And that, about 100 years ago, started to change with another story from Europe, mainly from people like Niels Bohr in Denmark, and Einstein, a reluctant participant, but still a participant in the quantum theories of the universe. But many other people, Schrödinger and Wolfgang Pauli, and on, Max Planck. And basically, while Einstein's theories apply to the macro world, the macro universe, I don't even know if this is interesting to you. It's interesting to me. Is it interesting to you? Okay. So Einstein's theories apply to the macro universe, the big universe, and then quantum physics starts to apply its math to the micro world. And so quantum mechanics is actually a way of calculating probabilities. Basically, that's what it is. It's a mathematical calculation for the evolution of what is called the wave function. Won't go into details right now, but quantum physics, like relativity, is very difficult to visualize. And so there are many concepts in quantum physics. You can be in two places at the same time. At least a particle can be in two places at the same time. There is something called quantum entanglement, and there's the whole idea of non-locality. Non-locality means that a particle can be measured in one location in space-time and immediately determines the fate of another particle in another location in space-time. Einstein and Niels Bohr had a lot of arguments with each other because Einstein was a realist. Realist means that the world we experience is real. And Niels Bohr and the other quantum physicists were what are called idealists, because one of the interpretations of quantum physics, at least at that time, was that you need an observer to collapse the wave function. So there's no particle, there's no material particle till a conscious observer collapses the wave function into a material object. And Einstein was not happy with that. His well-known expression, the moon would still be there if no one was looking at it. So that's what realism means. The moon, the earth, the stars, everything exists. Whether you are looking at it or not doesn't matter. It's there. It's real. This is called realism. And of course, Niels Bohr was against that. And they argued with each other till they died. They never agreed. And now there's a joke that when Einstein turns in his grave in Princeton, Niels Bohr turns the other way instantly. And that is called That is called non-local correlation. Everything is correlated with everything all the time in a domain which is not in space-time. Anyway, so this is where we are right now, trying to understand these theories. And the fact is that even though the theories work, we can measure gravitational waves, we can measure the curvature of space-time, or what we call gravity. Quantum mechanics works. We are using Facebook and Twitter and send each other email. Every technology we use, we are using these theories. But they haven't still answered the basic question, what is the universe made of? Or, what is the basis of consciousness? And these are very important questions, because the first question is, what is existence? The universe exists. At least we think it is. The universe exists. And the second is that we know it exists. So that's because we are conscious. So there's one existence, and then there's the consciousness of existence. And no one knows the answer to either one. Because science uses methodologies like theory, experiment, observation, validation, or what is called falsifiability. You first come up with the theory, and these days the theories are all mathematical. And then you design an experiment, and then you verify what you proposed, or you falsify it. That's how science works, and theories keep getting better and better and better. But why is the question, what is the universe made of? Why is it such a difficult question? And the reason is that according to our current scientific model, 70% of the universe is a mysterious entity called dark energy. And dark energy is not the usual kind of energy that you think of when you see E is equal to mc squared. Dark energy is a hypothetical mathematical construct which is based on the observation that the universe is expanding right now faster than the speed of light. So the space between galaxies is moving faster than the speed of light. So people say, oh, it must be some energy. It's the opposite of gravity. Gravity causes things to come together, and this energy, dark energy, is actually expanding the universe. And what is expanding is the space between galaxies. Current scientific models say there are 2 trillion galaxies. We live in the Milky Way galaxy, which has 100 billion stars. But right next door to us is another galaxy called Andromeda, which has another 100 billion stars. And then right next door is Virgo. Keep going till you get 2 trillion. Each with hundreds of billions of stars. So the number of galaxies is 2 trillion. The number of stars, current estimate, is 700 sextillion. Don't ask me how to write that. It's 700 and many, 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 many zeros. And there are, according to current science, uncountable trillions of planets in the universe. In our own galaxy, according to current astrobiologists, there are 60 billion possible habitable planets. But we can't see them, we can't know them, because they're so far away. By the time light comes from here to our solar system will have exhausted its thermonuclear energy and burnt itself up into the heat death of absolute zero. So even though we can mathematically propose these entities, there's no way to validate them. There's no way to either validate them or falsify them. So they remain theories, mathematical theories. So that leaves 30% of the universe, which is left. After 70% is dark energy. Of that 30%, 26% is another mysterious entity called dark matter. And why is it called dark matter? Obviously, because we can't see it. And why can't we see it? Because it's not made of atoms. So everything you can see right now is made of atoms, including your own body. This is made of atoms. In fact, your body is 96% just carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and then other elements like iron and phosphorus and calcium and so on. In any case, dark matter is not made of atoms. So it doesn't reflect light, it doesn't interact with light. So why do we call it matter? Because usually we reserve the word matter for this. Okay? Why do we call it matter? Because it's the only way we can explain the gravity in a galaxy. So in a galaxy, stars and planets, they are moving in spirals, they spin on its axis, our Earth is spinning on the axis, it's going around the sun, there's a relationship between the moon and the sun and us, and if you did not have gravity, everything would spiral off and disappear, including your body, because your body is held together with electromagnetic forces, but also it walks on this ground because of gravity. And the Earth is spinning on its axis because of gravity. And most of the gravity cannot be explained by the regular matter. So again, scientists come up with a theory, mathematical construct. There's something called dark matter, which is not made of atoms. What is it made of? Well, they're looking for it. And right now there's a candidate, it's called WIMP, W-I-M-P, weakly interacting massive particles. But we can't see them, theoretical. So that leaves 4% of the universe, which is made of atoms. 4%. Of that, 99.99% is invisible interstellar dust, believed to be hydrogen and helium, but we can't see it. So the visible universe is 0.01% of what's there. 2 trillion galaxies, 700 sextillion stars, uncountable trillions of planets, is 0.01%. The rest is unknown or unknowable. Why do I say unknowable? Because first of all, if something is not made of atoms and we are made of atoms, how do we interact with it? And secondly, if all this exists out there, by the time light comes to our location on planet Earth, then planet Earth won't exist anymore. The solar system will have exhausted its energy. So now we're left with 0.01% of the universe, which is made of atoms. But then you ask scientists, what are atoms made of? And they'll say they're made of particles. What are particles made of? They say, well, and again, never mind all the theories. There are 20 different interpretations of quantum mechanics. Just go to Wikipedia and type out interpretations of quantum mechanics, and you'll find calculation works no matter what the interpretation is. But when you have 20 interpretations of something, it obviously means no one knows what the truth is, right? So, but we do know that particles have a dual nature. When you measure them, they appear as material objects, which is mass and energy. But when left alone, they evolve into waves. And if you ask scientists, what are these waves made of? They'll say these waves are made of possibilities. So you say, where are these possibilities? They'll say, oh, it's a mathematical space called Hilbert space, named after a European mathematician. What is Hilbert space? It's an infinitely dimensional, multi-dimensional space of possibilities. Where is it? Shut up and calculate. So the atomic universe, which is only 0.01%, is made of possibilities. That's all we can say. Mathematically, if you ask people, astrophysicists, they'll say the universe is made of nothing. Nothing that you can see, or basically it's only made of possibilities. But where do these possibilities exist? Certainly not in space and time. Okay, so short summary of what is the universe made of? Nothing. So if it's made of nothing, why does it look like this? Don't know. Okay, this is also called the hard problem of consciousness. So the two questions, what is the universe made of and what is the basis of consciousness, are related. So what is the hard problem of consciousness? The hard problem of consciousness is, scientifically, we cannot explain any experience, including the experience you're having right now. So you say, where are you having the experience of Deepak on the stage? You say, well, he's on the stage, and what is happening is photons are coming from him, they're bouncing, this light is bouncing off me, they're going to your eyes, they go through your lens, they get inverted, and there's an image in your retina which is inverted. Your retina is 9.5 centimeters apart, two eyes. It's slightly curved, so if there was an image of me in your retina, you would be seeing two of me upside down and curved. It's not happening. Okay, and there's no image in the retina anyway. Okay, so then the experience is happening in the brain. Well, how do I fit inside your brain? How does this room fit inside your brain? Where is the experience of color and shape and everything that we call, you can just ignore that, huh? Yeah, keep recording it. We are on Facebook. Okay. So, any experience you have, whether you're hearing my voice right now, all that's happening is air molecules are vibrating and they are sending an electrical current to your brain. In your brain there's electrochemistry, but you're hearing sound. How? You see the color blue or these beautiful colors on these chairs, all that's coming to your eyes are colorless photons. All that's happening in your brain is chemistry, but you're seeing this amazing display of color and shape and sound and texture and smell. You like it, you don't like it, you interpret it. We can't explain it. Current neuroscience, although tomorrow I'll talk about the brain and how you can use the brain to experience new reality, but the experience is not happening in your brain. What is happening in your brain is what is called neural correlates of experience, NCE. They are chemistry, electrochemicals. Where is the actual experience happening? This perceptual experience right now. Science can't tell you. Or, how do you experience a thought? How do you experience imagination? If I ask you right now, think of a beautiful sunset on the ocean. You see an image, right? Or think of a beautiful flame candle. You see an image. There's no image in your brain. Only chemistry. There are no colors in your brain. There are no textures in the brain. There are no sounds in the brain. No smell, nothing. Just chemistry. So to the world. The world is made up of atoms. The atoms are possibilities. There are no colors in the real world. Any scientist will tell you this. There are no sounds in the real world. So we have a problem. We don't know what the universe is made of. And we don't even know how we know what we know. It's a huge problem. Okay. We're in the midst of a major revolution right now. in science. And I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that. But I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint, okay? There's no universe. There's no such thing as a body, and there's no such thing as a mind. We made it up, just like we made money. We made latitude, longitude. Huh? Is there anything that exists? Yes. You. But not as this body, not as this mind. That's another story. You exist. And by you, I don't mean your name or your form. By you, I mean the consciousness in which that name and form is conceived, constructed, governed, and comes into existence, which is not in time, eternal. You exist timelessly and eternally. You are existence, yes. And eternally doesn't mean stretching forever. You know, like they say, we go to heaven forever. Well, it would be in Sunday school forever, unless Jim Kosamano comes and gives a song. Very boring. Okay. So when we say you exist, it's timelessly, not in time. This is an experience in space-time. And it's a way, there's a way it comes about. So I would say that maybe 1% of scientists are beginning to understand this. It'll take some time, but this is the best new adventure for human beings. We evolved from primates, from monkeys. 99% of our DNA is the same as a monkey. Genes are the same as a monkey. So if we survive, meta-human is our next journey. Thank you very much.
Ladies. Deepak said that he will be talking about how we can actually develop our super brain, how we can use our brain. I feel now I cannot even use my basic brain now, you know. But I'm absolutely clear.
The brain is an instrument. It's like this is an instrument.
But I'm absolutely clear that once I come back home tonight, I will tell my wife that I'm just composed of possibilities.
That's it. And not only possibilities, infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities. Deepak, I have one question. When I was listening to you, I was thinking about, could you share with us what are your daily routines? What routines do you stick to basically live the life you live? How?
I think the most important routine is I don't know what I'm doing. Like I didn't know I was here this afternoon. So okay. I don't plan. I don't look into the future. I go with the flow. But on a regular basis, I'm attached to my meditation and my yoga practice. I practice yoga every day, 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. And I practice meditation. But otherwise, I don't take anything seriously because it's made of nothing.
Thank you. You